Hey everybody, Mike here. Welcome. Well, this is the model that I did in the last video, and apparently you guys like it a lot. And especially the fact that it's fully narrated and it's not a time lapse, and I kind of explain my thought process, right? Now, keep in mind, this is not a clean model. This is, I like to call it conceptual modeling, right? It's just my thought process on how a model comes, to life, if you will. And once I'm happy with it, I'll go back in and remodel it basically, but then make sure I got a clean topology, no n-gons and that kind of thing. So if you're thinking, hey, the modeling is messy, well, hey, there's a reason. It's all to get an idea across of what something would look like, right? Anyway, considering the fact that you guys like this so much, I'm going to make it a series. So this is going to be part 2, and I have no idea what I'm going to be modeling. We'll see. I'm just going to get modeling and see what happens, right? Okay, so first of all, there's something that bugged me a lot, and that is the fact that this gutter is running straight down, and I know it doesn't have to be exact and all that, but the rain pipe would not catch a lot of water sitting here, right? So we're going to move it to the back where the actual rain pops up, right? And we're allowed to be creative, and we're allowed to be somewhat playful, if you know what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here to vertex, and I'm going to bring that down here to this guy. And then we're just going to take the whole deal and make it look funky, right? Okay, so that's our ground level. That makes a lot more sense, I would say. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, that's good. I can live with that. Right. Okay, so what are we doing next? I want to create a street, right? So we need a curb, and for that we'll take a polygon cube, and we need to keep an eye out for the proportions. So we're going to hit R, we're going to stretch that out. Massive truck flying down the road here, sorry. We're going to go in here, we're going to go to face, delete that one, and delete that one. And these are going to be segments, right? So we're going to push this in to about here. We're going to go into this guy, and we're going to hit bevel, and then we'll do 0.2, that should be fine, and then 3 segments, that should be fine. And then we're going to go in here, excuse me, double click on this edge, shift, double click on this one, Control E to extrude. We're going to hit R to pull it out just a tiny bit, and then we're going to bring it down first, and then we're going to push it out. So when I connect these, you will have a tiny gap, which is kind of the idea, right? Excuse me. So we're going to hit Control D to duplicate, W to move. So as we put these together, you'll see that you kind of have that going on, right? And that's kind of the idea here. All right, so for now, we'll hit, let's see, Shift D, and we'll move it over, F to frame. And I don't know how many we need, but we'll see, all right? So for now, we'll take this, and we'll move it over here. All right. And then that should be fine. Now, I'm going to need some tiles, and this is going to be very high poly at some point. So I'm not going to go nuts on it, right? So we're going to take a polygon cube, hit R, let's flatten that down, and of course we're going to scale it down as well. So we're going to delete that, and then we're going to go in here, and yeah, I mean, that's basically it, right? Let's see, we're going to round the edges just a little. So we're gonna hit bevel, and that looks about right. We're not gonna add any more edges to that. We're gonna hit W, we're gonna move that in here, and then we're gonna scale it down a lot. And I'm gonna compare it to the steps to get an idea how much, right? Alrighty, so that wouldn't be too bad. Okay, so we're gonna hit Control D, just duplicate. And distance wise, that's fine. And then we'll hit Shift D. And we're not going to go all the way because we want to give the house a front yard. This needs to come up a little bit. That will be about right. Okay. So we're going to move that over here. And let's say we're going to get rid of this and we'll get rid of this. That should be more than plenty. All right. So we got these. Let's try to align them with this area right here. So we're gonna push that down to about there. That's fine. Excuse me once again. Let me just take a sip of water here. So you don't have to hear me coughing all the time. Okay. Control D. We're going to hit W, we're going to move it over. And I'm going to remove a few of these in a minute, but I just want to get the alignment correct, right? So, Shift D all the way over. Like that. Okay, and then we're going to get in here, and let's make this one shorter. Okay, now I like the idea of having trees in front of the house, one here and one here, and we'll deal with that later. But for now, just so I know where I want them, it's going to be, let's have a look. It's going to be come on. These four. Don't be like that. Come on, Maya. And these four. So that's where my trees are going to be, right? But we'll deal with that later. Now, we need to have a ground plane. So we're going to go in here. We're going to hit R, and we're going to scale that out. And push that out like so. And then make sure it's sitting at the level that we want it. And it is. That's good. Right? And now let's see. How about let's make a fence. First I want the ground plane to be, let's call it OCD proof. That's of course level. So we'll take all of this and we'll group it and we'll center the pivot and we'll hit W and then we'll snap it so it's centered. Okay, cool. So now that we have that, and again we're going to deal with the trees later, let's come up with a fence. Now a fence is always fun because you can put a lot of creativity in there, right? So first we need to come up with some corner pieces, for the lack of a better word for it. Don't really know. And again, this is not a clean model, but nevertheless I want to get rid of faces where I can, because otherwise system might slow down and so forth, right? Okay, extrude. We're gonna hit R to scale it in. We're gonna hit W to pull it up. Scale it in a bit more. That's better. Alrighty. So, and we're gonna put one on each side, of course, because that's the idea that from the sidewalk you go through a gate and then you go to the front door, right? So that would be about there. Control D to duplicate. We'll have one about there. Then we're gonna hit Control D again, and we'll have one here. Hit Shift D. And let me do that again. So Control D, W to move, Shift D, and then we're going to hit Control D again. Yeah, I'm not happy with the spacing just yet, but I can change that. Yeah, we'll get it sorted. That's fine. Okay, now we need to take these, and of course they are very tall. Too much so, actually. So I'm going to bring them down a bit. Let's make these two. Let's put them a bit further apart. Let's say that's too much. Let's say the middle of that one and the middle of that one. That's fine. Cool thing is you have a reference because we have these tiles here, right? Okay. So then let's see, we'll put one here, and then we'll put one here, and we can sort the length in a bit, right? Okay, and then let's see, we'll duplicate this one, and we'll go to here, and yeah, we'll copy this one as well. So we got 2 at that end, 2 at that end, right? Okay. Let's take this guy, go to vertex, and we can change this as often as we like, right? So now that we have these, we can borrow them as a reference. So let's go to mesh and combine, and then Control D, and then E to rotate. And then we'll just move them in here. And the whole idea here is, because I'm just, you know, going with my gut feeling here, you can change it as often as you like. You can play around with it, and it's just a lot of fun, right? That's kind of the idea. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having fun. And of course, I'm going to get comments saying, well, you could do it much more efficient, and you can do it faster, and you can do it, okay, but that's not what's going on here, right? All right, so we got this. Now, at this point, it's starting to look like kind of a, I don't know, prison environment or whatever. So we need to make sure it looks a lot more fun, right? All right. So we have a yard of sorts, right? So we need to have a couple of, actually let's do a little piece of concrete in the front here towards the sidewalk, right? So let's take a polygon cube. Let's just hit R and scale it. Push it in like so. Hit R again. Make that nice and flat. Excuse me. I'm going to push that in here. Let's hit R. So this would actually fit here, which would be nice, right? And then we're going to hit W. I'm going to push that down. We're going to bevel those edges. Do 0.2. A few of those, yeah. And then we're going to control a D and we're going to move it forward. After frame. And then let's see, if we take these two and we make them thinner, like so, then we can make it look better, fit better, etc. And the last one's going in here. And of course, we're going to cut that to size, right? So we're going to go to vertex, drag select, after frame, 5 for shaded mode. So get something looking like that. And I think we're going to lower this whole section here to get everything aligned. Now, of course, all of this is way too straight and clean and whatnot, right? So let's fix that. So we're going to hit E and we're going to ever so slightly tilt that, right? Sorry for the noise, guys. Apparently my guinea pigs want to help with the modeling process. So, and these are very tiny and very, very subtle changes, but they're massively important. Just tilting a few tiles here, especially where there are going to be trees. You kind of want them to be raised, kind of roots pushing up the tiles, right? And like I said, that immediately creates an illusion that it's real and, you know, and of course we can do the same here. So we're going to go to mesh and separate. Center pivot very, very slightly, you know, tilt those just one every now and then, right? Now let's get something in here to make this look more like a fence, right? So we're just going to simply take a polygon cylinder. We're going to hit E to rotate, hold on J, flip it on its side. And the guinea pigs agree, looks like. Delete that. Hold down the tab key. Delete that. push it in here after frame, or the scale down a lot. Pull it out like so. Okay, excuse me. So we want 2 of these, all right? And it's still quite thick. Make it thinner. And then stretch it out again, like so, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna hit Control D to duplicate, and W to move down. And that's kind of what it's gonna look like, okay? Now we need to create an opening right here. So what we're gonna do is insert edge loop. And we'll set to multiple and 2. We'll put them right there. And if we hit 4, we should be able to see them. We're going to hit R. We're going to push them out until we're inside of those columns. Q on the keyboard. Face. Delete. Take this guy. Insert edge loop again. Hit R, push them out. It's kind of hard to see the edges, but yeah, there they are. So we got that. We're gonna go 2 faces and delete. So if we hit 5, you'll get something looking like this, all right? Right, now we need that all the way around. So let's take these 2, and we're going to go to mesh and separate. Okay, Control D to duplicate, W to move back. After frame, this is in the middle. It's pretty good. And now, of course, we can go in here, right click, go to vertex, drag, select these, and pull them to the end. All right, well, not exactly sure what the problem was, but it's sorted, right? So we're going to do this. We're going to right click. We're going to go to vertex, drag select, push them to the end. I mean, we don't have time for this kind of nonsense because we got things to do, right? Control D. Push that up after frame, and then take these 2, Control D, W, move it to the back. And bring that up. All right, now that's all good, but it's again way too straight, right? And we don't want that. Now imagine kids walking to school and they pass this house and they love to just sit on this, walk on this, and so forth and so on, right? So let's give it some character. So we're going to insert edge loop and let's set it to 5. And we're going to throw a bunch in here just because we can, and we'll do some here as well, just so we can be creative, right? Okay, now keep in mind that especially the ones in the front will be impacted. So we're going to go to vertex. I'm going to hit B for soft select, and we're going to increase that whole area, and we're going to kind of bend that down a little. Now, these are more centered, so that makes more sense, but it's fine to have a situation where it is not symmetrical, because, you know, kids sit on it, they just sit on it wherever they are sitting, so it's all good. And it's unbelievable how much difference this makes, right? Keep it all straight and it looks basically fake. That's not the world. If you look around, you'll see that there's dents and scratches and whatever going on all over the place, right? So that's where they would put their foot, you know, climbing on it, maybe. I'm just going to bang it up a little bit, right? Now, what would not work at all is if you changed all of these and you did not change one of them, right? That would look awful. So you basically get something looking like this, kind of banged up. And you can see that there's a massive difference. And you can even consider, for example, taking out one of the rods and you know, do something like that. Now that we have this, we can kind of define how big this should be. So we're going to go to vertex and turn off soft select. Let's move that in here. And then we're going to go in here and grab this, and we're going to move that in. And let's see, how about we put in some trees? We'll do that in a minute. Of course, we need a mailbox, right? And these things aren't crooked enough just yet. These guys, right? And of course, considering these are the first two, how about we do this and we grab the vertices on these. Come on. Make them a bit longer, right? And then maybe, let's see, we've got spheres on those already, so I think this would be fine, right? But I'm gonna go and kind of tilt this one a little bit. A little bit more than before. Yeah, I think the look is better. Okay, so now that we have that, let's see if we can do anything here. We'll do our trees. Now, trees need to have somewhat soil and whatnot, right? So we're gonna create that. Just get in here. Have to frame. Scale it down, not too far, because we're going to raise that up in that opening. And then we're going to go in here, insert edge loop, 5 and 5, all right. And then I'm going to take this guy, Control D to duplicate, W to move, put one over there as well. Then we're going to go in here and we're going to go to vertex, drag a section, hit B, just make it look more natural than just a flat surface, right? Alrighty, so how about some trees? All right, so for that, and it's been a while since I used those, we're gonna go to, I think they were under FX. No, this should be under modeling. Wow, that's really a while since I used those. Yeah, it's in the content browser, so it should be here. All right, so we're gonna go and look for modeling, and we don't want people. Let's see. Let's go with paint effects. Trees. Yeah. Okay, what kind of tree do we want? Birch tree is always a nice go-to. Definitely not palm trees. We don't want pine trees either. Let's have, yeah. Let's have this one. And hopefully we can control it. All right? So that's the one we want. Okay, so if I drag on this, I'll get a row of small trees. Now let's see how accurate they are. Not at all, right? So I don't want those. So let's go back. I want something that's a little bit more lifelike. And I think there were I mean, this one looks a lot better. Let's try this guy. Nope, don't like it. So I'm going to go with the paint effects because they typically look better. All right. So we are going to use one of these. How about this? Let's have a look. After frame, that's not bad. Not bad. Okay. So that's the one we're going to go with, right? So I got this guy. So I'm going to do one here and one here, like so. And then I'm going to hit Q on the keyboard. I'm going to make sure I got them all selected. Then I'm going to go up to modify, convert, paint effects to polygons. There you go. So now they will actually show up in a render, right? So I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to hit R, let me center the pivot, hit R, scale that up, and it looks like I need to combine it with the leaves, so let's go back, mesh and combine, and now scale it up, yeah, there you go. And we're going to W, we're going to move that towards our house, get it roughly where it needs to be. So it's going to be around here, right? And it's going to be somewhere in this area. And then we're going to jump to our perspective view. Get that in here. After frame, we're going to hit E to rotate. get it more upright, like so. W to push that in. And then we're going to raise that up a little bit. And let's just give this a material that's similar to everything else. It took a little while, but it's all good. And then what I'm going to do is go over here and get rid of these paint effects. And then we're going to go in and take this guy and hit Control D to duplicate, W to move. And of course, we're not going to leave it like this because that would be an incredibly bad idea. So we're going to get it into place. Hit 5. And then to make it look different, what we can do is go to Mesh and Separate and get rid of a few key branches. And what we'll do here is we'll just take this. Actually, we can't do that. We've got floating branches here. All right, let me see if I can make this work. Let's just rotate it around a little bit. Okay, enough on the trees. That's good for now. Let's extend this a little bit. And we'll take this guy, Control D to duplicate, W to move. Go to vertex, turn off soft select. And duplicate. Take this guy. After frame, vertex. They've got something looking like this, right? So let's see, how about a mailbox? All right, so we're gonna have a mailbox and we're gonna pull that out. Let's make that fairly thin, and of course a lot smaller. And we're gonna stick that in here somewhere. And it's going to be mounted on the side of this pull right there. Now we don't want it to cut into it, so be aware of that. We're going to go to vertex. That'll be about right. Don't forget to put in some bolts because if you don't, it will all fall down. So we're going to go over here, E to rotate, flip it down, like so. Control A, let's go to 6. Take this guy, hit R and kind of push it in like so. W, move it in, move it up, F to frame. Scale it down a lot. Move it up, move it in. Scale it down some more. And again, minor details, but very important ones. Control D to duplicate, and W to move down, and then let Shift D to do it again. Now, whatever you do, make sure you rotate these so they're not all in the same position, because that's a dead giveaway that it is not what it should be, right? And then the guy living here is not really a great handyman, so kind of screwed up that one, right? Okay, so what about a mailbox? All right, so for the mailbox, we're going to take a polygon cylinder, we're going to W, I'm going to push that up, move it forward, E to rotate, hold on J, flip it on its side like this, and then we're going to go in here and we're going to kind of grab half of it, something like this. Let's get this thing in the open so we can work on it. Okay, F to frame. Now we're going to go in here, we're going to go to edge, Control E to extrude, W to push down. We're going to go to mesh and fill hole to close up the bottom. We're going to get in here, we're going to hit R, we're going to scale it in a little bit. I'm going to make it a bit longer, and we're going to change the height a little. Let's go in here, vertex. Okay, so we got this thing, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the front here and go to face, tab key, go to edit mesh and detach, then go to object mode, edit mesh, mesh and separate. Then we're going to hit the insert key, we're going to move the pivot point down. And to the front, hold down V, hit the insert key again, hit E to rotate. There's that. It shouldn't extend like that though. Very odd. If any of you know what's going on here, let me know, right? I'm at a loss. A couple of weird things going on here. Let's see what that might be. I mean, as I do this, it's literally changing. All right. Anyway, we got this. So let's say we're not going to open it all the way. Just a bit. Like that. And then hit R and squish it down just a tiny bit. You get the idea, right? Okay, so this guy, we need to give it some thickness. Looks like something's going on with this guy here. Okay, anyway, extrude 0.1, 0.02, that's better. And then this guy, .02. Okay, cool. So now that we have this, we're going to insert edge loops. Let's do 5, and let's do 5. So we can go in and smash it up a little, right? So we're going to get a mesh and combine again. We're going to go in here to vertex, B for soft select. And we're going to kind of push that in. This thing has been around for a bit, right? So I'm going to hit 1 to go back. There we go. So we got this thing. We're going to jump to the front, F to frame. Let's get it on here. I'm going to raise that up a little bit, like so, and then let's see if we need to change the size a little bit, just a tiny bit. Bring it down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it over just a little, okay? So that's our mailbox. So what else? We want, I don't know, let's bring in a car, right? So we're going to go to Windows, content browser, and only if we can find a car that we like, right? I mean, let's see, what do we got here? Vehicles. No, they're horrible. I'm not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. Bipeds, nah. Not going to do that either. Let's see, what else are we going to do? We're going to go and create a little doghouse. Let's see, what are we doing on time? Yeah, we're, I would say, about 45 minutes in. So let's save that for the next one, right? Let me know in the comments if you want me to continue with this series. And if you want, I will. And I'll create the next house and a bakery and a street and whatnot, right? So yeah, let me know and I'll happily oblige, right? Okay, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye. Well, thanks for watching. And before you go, please hit that MH button to subscribe, okay? See you guys next time.